Hey folks, Visual Aid Rules for Efficiency presentation here. This is Murphy shouting out at you guys today. So here you go, Rule 1. You are the presenter, not the PowerPoint. So the purpose of the slides on the smart board or projector or whatever it is you're using, excuse me, is to emphasize a point. It's to keep you on track, or it's to illustrate a point with a graphic image or a photo. So in other words, you don't read from the slides, folks, okay? It should be bulleted information, not written in complete sentences, just the highlights. Rule 2, do not make your audience read the slides. Then they are more focused on what is on them instead of you, the presenter. So no more than 6 to 8 lines per slide and no more than a total of 30 words. That's what I mean. We're going to have bulleted points and we're writing in fragments using key words, not complete sentences. Your font should be large, at 24 point or bigger. I would also encourage you to use clear font, Times New Roman, or an Arial, something that is easy to read for even those that are further back in the classroom. Moving on to Rule 3, visual presentation. Make sure that it is easy on the eyes. Stay away from weird colors and busy backgrounds. And here we are again, easy to read fonts. So I would definitely stay away from words in the color yellow or a peach or a light blue, anything like that, simply because it is very difficult to see sometimes. If you have a busy background, words may also disappear into that background and become very difficult for the viewer to see. So stay away from announcements on there. You don't ever include anything that makes you announce, I don't know if you can read this, but. First of all, if they can't read it, then it should not be a part of the visual presentation. If you're doing, a speech over, let me see here, I don't know, some cool monuments in Washington, D.C., and you found an article explaining the background between the Lincoln Memorial, behind the Lincoln Memorial, and you want to show that article. That's fine if you put it up on your screen. But if it's too small for the audience to view, make copies of that article and pass it out to them. Or blow up a certain phrase or section that you would like for them to be able to read. Don't say anything like, I don't know if you can read this, but. All right? Make sure they have the option to read it. A good rule of thumb in terms of, is it large enough? Print off one of your slides on a full sheet of paper, place it on the floor in front of you, stand up, and if you can read it while you are standing up very clearly, then the majority of the audience could read it. Here again, this is where I'm going to point out, font less than 24 point should never be used. Rule number 5, I would definitely leave out distractions. Typically, we don't need sound effects or background music. All that does is take away from the presenter. The focus should be on you. You are using your visual aid as a supplement. It is to supplement what you are saying. So if you need to use these background music or sound effects, use them sparingly and only in effective portions. I'm going to stick with that rule regarding animations also. If you use them extremely sparingly. And as of course, we always must remember that some of our viewers may have some disabilities, and swirling words and other animations can be very challenging for them to watch and view. So I always stay away from anything like that. With anything else, my friends, you need to proofread, proofread, proofread. You would never want to discover that you have a misspelled word or a grammar error during your presentation. That would not bode well for you and your grade. And I feel certain that I could speak for all language arts teachers here at Highland that would be extremely disappointed in you for such an error. Practice, 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 folks. The more time you go through your speech using the visual aid that you have created, the less you'll have to rely on the slides for cues and the smoother your presentation will be. So again, I'd like to reiterate that the presentation behind you, the smartboard, is simply supplemental to what it is you're saying. Excuse me. You have the information. You have the examples. That is just supplemental. It would also serve you if you miss, like you forget where you're at in your speech. You have to turn around. The bulleted points can get you back on the correct direction rather quickly, but that's all it is. It is not for you to read. I'm also going to say, be sure you know how to pronounce everything on the slides. I cannot tell you how many presentations I have witnessed to where students are mispronouncing words, or even will do something and say, I have no idea how to pronounce that. Or, well, I don't know, you figure out how to say that. If you don't know how to say it, then either one, ask, two, Google it and push the little audio sign so it will say it for you, or three, pick a different word. Know how to pronounce everything on your slides. And you can see here on slide 10 that I have created a link that will take you to additional visual aid rules and guidelines. This is a YouTube video and you should not have any trouble accessing it. If you should have any questions regarding this or any other presentation that the language arts team and I have developed here at Highland High School, contact your teacher or someone here immediately and we'll help you in the best way that we can.